you've got to deal with it the best you can. You got to insulate yourself to the best of your ability so that when this type of thing happens, you're not exposed totally. If you're exposed totally, it's not going to be a good program. Yeah, my name is Jim Halbeisen, and this is my opinion. The last week of July, basically from about the 23rd to the 3rd of August, I've been traveling for Growers Mineral Corp. We were in North Dakota, went through Wisconsin, Illinois, Indiana, and then I was in Adams County, Pennsylvania, which is in the central part of the state. And the thing that was so significant about those 2 weeks was that early in the week of the 23rd, that weekend, the Russians had bombed one of the Ukrainian export ports on the Black Sea. And so, they broke the grain deal or the shipping deal that they had made with the Ukraine at that point, and the price of commodities went up very, very significantly. There was one day during that week that wheat went up 60 cents. The farmers that I was working with, some of them had year-old wheat. Some of them were just marketing the wheat they had just harvested. And they were wondering, if that 60-cent run is something that they should latch on to. And again, everybody knows what marketing's all about. There's more luck than sense. But the corn went up significantly. Soybeans went up significantly. And there were probably some farmers that did some forward contracting at that point or did some hedge to arrive contracts. But by the end of the week, the other factor that was in there was the heat that week. It was blazing hot up in North Dakota when we were up there. I mean, we were in the middle to high 90s. Humidity was high. That had encompassed most of the Corn Belt. And so that added to the uptick in the prices. Well, by the end of the week, that started to rescind a little bit, and then the long-term forecast said, hey, we're going to go get into cooler weather, and the speculative money basically withdrew at that point. So by a week later from that 60-cent run with wheat, we were back to about where we started from with corn, beans, soybeans, and wheat. So again, this roller coaster ride and very steep inclines and drops have made it much more difficult. And I think talking with farmers, it's when you try to look at the fundamentals on how to market grain and how to price your products, it's just almost next to impossible because the whims of the money that has nothing to do with agriculture is really driving the show, and this is another difficult thing for farmers to deal with. And the older farmers, which I belong to, and then you young guys, it's just a tremendous amount of risk, a tremendous amount of pressure, and I think guys just have to. You've got to deal with it the best you can. You got to insulate yourself to the best of your ability so that when this type of thing happens, you're not exposed totally. If you're exposed totally, it's not going to be a good program. So, I've made some serious errors in marketing in my career. All farmers have. So again, I don't think you can't wear that because it's not good for you. Dealing with your family, with you mentally. You just gotta take the lumps and do what you gotta do to try to overcome those peaks and valleys. And that's going to continue to get worse, in my opinion. So I think buffering yourself is going to be much more critical. So that's for young guys. Don't feel that you're you're making big mistakes that none of the rest of us ever made, because we all did. It just, some of us did it in a time frame where we were able to bounce back a little bit better. Today, you've just got to be that much more careful. This podcast has been brought to you by Growers Mineral. Please visit growersmineral.com.